Free will, who, does exist but only when one is working on building, molding and shaping yourselves up for the better, and freeing yourselves from disagreeable habits and transgressions of nature. You are more apt to being blinded by light than by darkness. Free yourselves from the imprisonment of the blinding light, being able to travel further up the ladder knowing the way, Mila, through Wu-Sabat, to an of netter shil netter, nature of nature. It is now time for the great palace to rise again, the palace of the mind, in the middle of Babylon the great known as the great beast. This will be the parting of the Reed Sea again to separate the faithful ones from those who conceal what they know to be true, Kafirin. Known as Armageddon, the final battle between good and evil, right information versus misinformation. The light has deceived so many, mistakenly called the light of truth and knowledge. The same blinding light taught by men about man's superiority and origins is first that lights the halls of science, the chambers of culture, the institutions of learning, and the lodges of secrets. Teaching only myths, fables, tales, stories, and what's called the legends which to them is truth. And this same light has blinded you called religion, religion. The Setians, Sethians, are of the Abrahamic flesh-sacrificing ritual religions, male superiority, female inferiority, and factual blindness. It's time to see things clearly now, Safui Kazun Katup. The guidance will be given by the masters, Netaru, reaching down with many helping hands, student teachers, to resurrect the dead Nagaru in the crypt of Kaukas ignorance. It is time to renew our story. The mystery, my story, must and will be made plain, as the sun burns its way in and purifies, for the earth will not receive a water cataclysm but one of fire, the great balls of fire. Where meteorites will hit the planet controlled by the Netaru. Consistent practice of concentration, an innate ability, strengthens the thought currents and clarifies ideas, utilizing the immense latent power of the mind. It is vital to strengthen and make best use of one's learning capacity. Sabians who practice concentration retain clear mental vision, referred to as clairvoyance. Remember, opening your third eye is just the first stage of your long journey on a short path. Many will receive provisions, which means positive visions, which are instructions and revelations which come from Netter Shil Netaru, by increasing your awareness through study. 9 Ether lets you know when to do, how to, and where to do any and everything. Sound right reason is called sound wisdom in the book of Proverbs 2:7. Proverbs mean wise sayings. Pro for positive, and verb for action, positive actions. The Nagaru mind has been hijacked by a people who act distant and aloof, even seemingly heartless. They will stand back, having sold guns to both sides, impartially waiting to see who wins. This is the politics of the Western arms munitions families. There is no doubt their Moses, Jesus, Muhammad myths they sired was created for the total parasitic eating of Nagaru ability to reason. They are desperate to foil the ignition of our DNA because we are destined to outsteer their creator parasite ancestors. With all of this as a background, the reptilian Anakim children, Caucasu and Arabu, now needed to form a global empire that will encompass the cultures they have infected. They need to counteract the Netaru that had been working diligently to inform and ascend Nagar minds. The children of the Anakim are harsh, warlike beings who feel little emotion, that they have no regard for culture or other beings. As they say of themselves, beware the beast man, for he is the devil's pawn. Alone among God's primates, he kills for sport or lust or greed. He will murder his brother to possess his brother's land. Let him not breed in great numbers, for he will make a desert of his home and yours. Now look at Africa, look at America, look at the state of the oceans, the air, the ozone layer, our minds. He is of the necropolis, for he is the harbinger of death. Their death gases have corrupted our minds and bodies, thus corrupting our lifestyle. An individual we can only cope with so much, therefore we are encouraged to be individualistic. They are targeting children because they know of the birth of the golden children, children of the golden rays of the sun, Solarsapiens. If they get the children, they then have the adults that become. Look at children's entertainment, education, food. The formula in sodas like Coke is a chemical formula, and they are all just washing it back like nothing. It is no wonder we are seeing increasing behavioral problems among children, because they're being poisoned, they are being chemically rewired. We give them even worse drugs called medicine, so off we go in this downward spiral. The great problem is not juvenile delinquency, it's adults. Most of the delinquents are in government. We fix our youth by not forcing them, but giving them the information they need which will form their inner selves, enabling them to transform their outer selves. The parents pour their emotional baggage on the children, and wonder why they behave like they do. We need to protect them from what is being done, because there are some incredible children being born now, those able to retain the multidimensional state. They will speak and portray things that certain powers do not want to see exist. There is a war against the ancient knowledge of Nagaru, the winged mind. The Caucasus will encourage war, famine and disease to run rampant in Africa. What we are seeing now is that Africa is going to be sterilized, in wars in which Africans will carry the blame. The same with diseases, and yet these wars, famine and disease come from outside. What they keep out of the public domain is that there is more oil underground in Africa than there is in the entire Middle East. There is also a metal that carries in its hands the future of all the oil-producing nations of the Middle East. That metal is platinum, which Africa will be destroyed over. Nagaru are being destroyed. The enemy has declared open war against us. Nations are being decimated in front of you. The helping hands of Re will open your eyes, they will not let the children of the reptile destroy us. They disseminate the guidance of the masters, instilling correct thought, Tahuti, Thoth. Correct thought leads to correct action leads to a correct outcome. As other Nagaru witness your success, they are attracted to your lifestyle. The law likes attract likes maintains in the thought world, and that one attracts to him or herself the thoughts of others, which correspond in kind with those held by him or her. Have you ever wondered why certain people of certain professions gather together? Actors hang out with actors, or musicians hang out with musicians. The old saying reigns true, birds in a feather flock together, like minds attract to each other. Around every person is an electromagnetic field of energy that is influenced by thought waves coming from either the individual, other people, or ultimately your environment. Every thought that we think starts in the motion of thought waves, or vibrations, vibes, which travel along with greater or lesser speed and intensity, varying with the force of the original thought, and which affect more or less people far removed from the person sending forth the thought. We Nagaru are constantly sending forth thoughts, and are constantly receiving thought waves from others. A person who hates will attract to themselves all the hateful and malicious thought waves within a large radius, and these added thoughts act as fuel to the fire of their base feelings, and renders them more hateful and hating than ever. One who thinks love and has outgrown the old negative thoughts of imperfect development, will not attract these negative thoughts to themselves. The person who thinks love will attract to themselves all the loving thoughts within their circle of influence. Every Nagaru is constantly surrounded with a thought aura which affects those with whom they come in contact with. Others attract you without a word being spoken, while others repel you as soon as they come within the radius of your aura. When one realizes with their real eyes, third eye mind, the wonderful workings of the law of attraction, they see the importance of controlling their thoughts, that they may attract only the best and most helpful thoughts of the mental plane. Remember always, like attract like in the thought world. Rest assured that whatsoever you think will attract a corresponding thought through the actions of others. Each draw to themselves their kind. To not be affected by negative thoughts of others is to place yourself in proper key, tone, that you may receive only the helpful vibrations corresponding to the thoughts uppermost in your own mind. Every person is master of his or her own mind, and nothing will enter there unless you permit it by focused attention. The inside influence, your own thoughts, is much stronger than the outside thoughts of others. All one has to do to keep their mind free from negative thoughts, and the undesirable thoughts of others will not be attracted to you. Only thoughts that harmonize will find a congenial shelter within your mind. Fix your mind to your own mental key note and your mind will not respond to any other key. When you think love, hate will not come near you. When you think truth, falsehood will not find you, and lying thoughts will flee from you. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Your mind is a magnet, drawing to it thoughts in keeping with your conscious or subconscious demands and desires. There is a great law of nature, Netaru, whereby an atom attracts to itself that which is needed for its development, and the force that brings about the results manifests itself in desire. There may be many desires, but the predominant one has the strongest attracting power. A thought held firmly fixed in the mind, and held continually, will attract to its holder the things represented by that thought, except in such cases where other mental influences are at work counteracting the power of that thought. Example, if two people were to earnestly wish for the same thing, the stronger thought force would gain the object. The law of attraction is always at work, no matter how big or small the task, you will attract to you the dominate thoughts you are holding in your mind. When we have thoughts of worry, doubt and fear, the natural law of attraction does not decide whether these types of thoughts are healthy for you. Your subconscious mind works in accord with this natural law, and brings to you just what is on your mind, on a constant basis. The Anakim no fear is one of the greatest attracting forces of the mind. Fear of crime, fear of violence, fear of war, fear of loss, fear of their spook god. Look at the world around you, action-packed movies, drama-filled soap operas, music, the news. Overstand, fear is equal to confident expectation. In fact, fear is a kind of confident expectation of evil to come. Eliminate fear. Of course, fear expectation varies in degree with the amount of emotional fear being held, but this type of thinking over long periods of time lodges itself in the subconscious realms of thinking, thus creating new grooves and patterns within the subconscious, and manifesting this type of thinking into your life. We are the ones who set ourselves up for failure, no one else. Failure becomes a form of disease, because we are so used to manifesting these types of thoughts in our life, that they become our life. Our bodies become addicted to the chemical emotional responses of failure, disappointment and fear. The time is always now, and now is the time to eliminate thoughts and emotions of fear, doubt, and worry. Time to make a new you, you deserve it. Our thoughts place us in connection with the outside world and its forces, and we attract and repel people, and things, by the character of our thoughts being held in our minds. They are you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Your thoughts are pitched into the same thought key vibration. Remember, like attract like. The successful man or woman is he or she who knows how to take advantage of the chances that other people fail to see. It is time to realize within your life that you hold the power, sekemic energy, and the ankh, key to building up your own mind. This building, of course, is done altogether in the subconscious field and the conscious thought supplying the material, and the I, being the builder. Thus you have the mystical meaning of I am that I am. We are like the wireless operator. We are subjected to miscellaneous wrong thought currents if our minds are not in tune with the infinite, or if we are not in harmony with higher vibrations than those of denial. People who think courageous thoughts send these courageous thought waves through the universal ether, until they lodge and are planted in the consciousness of someone who is tuned to the same courageous thought key. Think a strong thought, and these thoughts will be received by someone who is strong, courageous and prosperous. It is just as easy to think in terms of abundance as to think in terms of poverty. The law of attraction will yield what you think about the most. When you keep thoughts like I do not have money, or my life is hard and is a struggle, or even, the country I live in is hard to make a good living, then guess what? That's right, you got it. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way you're right. I'm an African, not an Africant. When we learn to raise our own rate of vibration by currents of joy, hope, confirmation and facts in our life, these vibrations go through the universal mind and lodge in the consciousness of people who are keyed to the same tune. Whatever you think is sometime, somewhere, received by a person who is tuned into your thought key. When people are out of work, and we think thoughts of success, prosperity, harmony, position and growth, just as our thoughts are things, someone will receive our thought currents and vibrations of success, prosperity, harmony, position, and growth. If we are going to be timid, selfish, poor, and place little value on our thinking, then these thought waves which we have started in the universal ether, will go forth until they come to a mental receiving station of the same caliber. Birds of a feather flock together. Look at our neighborhoods. When you need money and resources, all you have to do is send up your vibrations to a strong, courageous receiving station, and someone who can meet your needs will be attracted to you or you to them. When we learn that we, as children of the Neteru, from the richest continent on the planet, by a very, very large margin, are entitled to succeed, we are entitled to win, in any right undertaking in life in which we have chosen for ourselves, then we will win. When we learn that we have the right to legitimate dominion over our own affairs, we will have dominion over them, and thus be the rightful rulers of our own affairs and our own lives. The promise is that we can do all things through the mind that was in Christ, Christos, Greek, Krishna, India, Kharost, Egyptian, meaning anointing. Take up that anointed mind, become a Kharost Christ mind. Receive the gift of Kharost consciousness, retrieving whole light beings for the next cycle of this revolution. As you ascend to the higher vibrations, through awareness, attained through study, you will be able to have access to your past life memories, which will be a total memory recall. To recall or review all that has happened from the multiple thens to the multiple nows. As your rate of vibration increases, through thought, awareness, study, matter becomes energy. The fastest way to send information we have technologically is called fiber optics, light. Your soul, solar, inner sun, enables you to access the higher frequencies of the black, unseen, imperceivable light. As you ascend from the physical to the spiritual, from matter to energy, climbing the ladder from perceivable light to gamma, cosmic rays, you evolve, re-evolve, revolve cyclically, from Homo sapien to Solar sapien, Etherin. Remember, gamma rays are ionizing radiation. They can cause DNA mutations, cancer and tumors. Your very presence in a room is slow death to Kaukasu. Your aura dominates. You will invigorate those who are positive, or agitate those who are negative. The higher you ascend, the lower, more animalistic, lesser-minded individuals act. They make themselves clear, they are not the company you should keep. Rise, ancient pupils, for the Master Tahuti has returned, to reveal that which was forgotten, with the reminder of all that is sacred. Pick up your Ankh and walk with the Master as stated in Mark 2:14, the New Testament, test of a moon ray, which is a test of one's faith and knowledge, wisdom and mentality. A moon means hidden. Escape the adverse forces by hiding in the black light, beyond their perception, leaving them trapped in person, places, and things. The planet Earth, like the human body, is surrounded by a force field, aura. The force field contains the planetary life force and the creative life force or monad. Melaninite beings have the ability to feed off the finer vibrations of energy throughout the universe. As a lamb grazes off the grass, the woolly-haired Nagaru is given leave to feed on the atmosphere of the planet, receiving a continual stream of sustenance, as a breatharian. We are of Re, the rays of the sun, seated in our great slumber, Anan Re, awakening as Autumn Re, onto our zenith, Aten Re. As a moon ray we are the faithful, for faith in the Lamb is truly wonderful. For many has called out Amen, Amen, throughout the world's religions at the end of their prayers, but didn't make it to see a moon Nubi, the soul of the Tarites, which is hidden beyond their perception, yet manifests as Baba Yanun, the good father that emerged from the waters of noon, as Autumn Ray, raising us from the seat of the sun, Anan Ray, the endless cycle upwards. We are in the time of our liberation, and the revolution, will be televised. There is no more time for religion. As the rays of the sun, we are the aiders of Nettershil Neteru, and Sarullah, and we are the answers, Ansari, to your prayers. We are not energy vampires who feed off you like prey, as you pray. We are of Pa Neteru. Arise, Autumn. Come forth by day ye Solarsapien.